once we started focusing her on the high impact money making activities, then she had that more consistent stream of clients and income coming in. Because yeah, that's what it takes. And the thing of it is, even if you're not an introvert, it usually does feel uncomfortable, right? To ask people to extend an invitation, right? To have that free consultation or whatever it is that you offer.
Welcome to Courage to be Visible, the podcast for heart-centered entrepreneurs who are done hiding in the shadows and ready to step into the spotlight. I'm your host, Andrea Stenberg. I'm a video marketing strategist and a big believer that showing up as your true self is your marketing superpower. I am so excited today. I have Natalie Hankins. She's a business and mindset coach, and she helps purpose-driven women turn visibility into consistent clients without sacrificing what matters. And I got to say, Natalie, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here.
Well, I'm so excited to be here.
And I really love that that's what you focus on, because visibility is important. But if you don't do anything with visibility, it's kind of like, what's the point? So talk about why that is such an important piece.
Well, there are so many pieces to visibility. And I love that you asked me that question because I have a new masterclass this year. So, conversations to clients turn connection into consistent income. Because it really is, especially in this day and age, where we're in a trust recession, right? We've got AI everywhere. But the thing of it is that business really is all about the know, like, and trust. Like, that is the thing that never changes, even with all of the advances in technology that we have. It really is about connecting and building those relationships. So yes, it is important to be visible as far as having a consistent presence on social media. And I do help my clients with that as well. But then we've got to be able to turn that visibility into paying clients, right? Otherwise, what are we doing it for?
And I like what you said about the conversations, because I think a big mistake a lot of people make is they think, if I'm visible on social media, I never have to talk to anybody. The sales will just roll in. And that's not true, is it?
Unfortunately, no. So I hate to tell all the introverts out there, but as a mindset coach, that's what I help my clients support my clients with as well. Because the only reason why we do or do not do anything is because of mindset. And so, people hesitate to reach out when they think, I don't want to bother people, or I don't want to be salesy, right? And so what I would encourage you to do is make a mental shift from, I'm going to be selling something, might come across as being salesy, to I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. I have something that's super valuable, right? So that's the first step with a lot of my clients, is helping them own the unique value of what they have to offer. Because once you do that and you get excited about the value that you have to offer, then making offers is just a natural progression from, your excitement about it.
I think that is so true, because most of the people that I meet who started a business, they started their business because they had a real passion to help people. Like, you don't meet people who are like, I've started a business to rip people off. Like, there are people out there, but the people that I've met in my world, they genuinely want to help people. And if that's where you're coming from, like in your heart, you want to make people make their lives better, help them make more money, make their family, whatever it is you want to help people with, you're not bothering them to invite them in to work with you.
Yeah, this is so true, because if you, like I said, in your mind, make that mental shift to I'm helping someone, right? Then, I've coached several clients on this, but one in particular comes to mind where, she was posting consistently on Instagram, talking about her recipes, so giving a lot of value, but then she was not talking about her nutritional supplement. And I asked her why, and she's like, I'm afraid that people will see me as being salesy. And so we coached on that because our thoughts create our results. So we have to coach on whatever that thought is that's stopping you, right? From making offers, from sharing about your product or service. And then after the coaching, she was like, oh, yes, you know what? I am doing this because my products change lives. And so then after that, then she got so much more visible, right? Because it's all those, the reason why you're not getting as visible as you want to get is because of a thought in your mind, right? It's some thought in your mind that's preventing you from getting visible and then preventing you from making those offers. And we have to do both when we're in business, right? We have to, number one, get visible, right, with our products and services and how we help people, right? And then also we have to make offers because, and especially with the changes in the algorithm where we can't depend on the social media platforms to be sharing our content with everyone. I mean, I think it's only 4% of people in your audience actually see what you post.
Yeah, exactly. So for people who come to you, and I mean, I've been there myself where you kind of go, oh, I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be that salesperson. I know for me, one of the things that was really helpful was starting to do affirmations and the affirmation about just like, I'm good at what I do and I'm helping people. What are some other things that people, when they work with you, who have this mental block, this fear of being overly salesy, how do you work with them?
Well, I love your affirmations. So when I work with people, first we do look at like what is that automatic negative thought or limiting belief that is preventing you from making those offers, right? Or from getting more visible, whatever your goal is. And then I help you find a more empowering thought that you also believe, right? That's the key. Because I love affirmations, but if we just, we're trying to repeat something that we really don't believe to ourselves, then it's like we end up lying to ourselves and that doesn't work. So I help my clients find that more empowering thought that they also believe, and then we'll turn that into their daily affirmation. And one of the best tips I can give you is you've got to learn to talk back to your brain. Because, like I said, 80% of our thoughts are negative automatically, according to the National Science Foundation. So the struggle is real for all of us. But the first step is awareness, right? So once you hear in your mind, I don't want to bother people, then I love that you have an affirmation that you believe in, that you like. You've got to talk back to your brain. And you say, but what I have to offer is super valuable, so I'm going to offer it anyway.
I love that what you said about talking back to your brain, because I think a lot of us feel like, okay, just because you have a thought, it must be true. But you have all kinds of crazy thoughts that aren't true. And sometimes the thought is, I suck. Nobody wants what I have. I'm terrible. And I love that about talking back and going, no, you're lying to me. Shut up.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. And I know what you mean though, because like we do think it's true when our brain offers us things like, for me, I have 2 kids with special needs. So a lot of times it's, I don't have time, some variation of that, or I might not have time. And thankfully, I'm trained to know, like, we've got to separate out the facts from our thoughts, because it's not actually our circumstances that create our results. It's our thoughts about our circumstances that create our results. So yeah, I've learned to talk back to my brain. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that one, like about time, because I mean, and it's true, like when you're a mother and you have kids and you've got, and I've got aging parents now, like we do have lots of demands on our time, but then there's also, like I was binge watching something on TV and it's like, well, I barely had time for that.
Exactly. So this is exactly why I created my time prioritization system in 2020 when we decided to keep my daughter home, because, through the pandemic until she got the vaccine, because we weren't bringing in any outside help. And I had to really figure out, like, how am I going to make time for all of my priorities in my life and my business? And here's the thing about time. Time can't actually be managed because it just exists, right? So what we really have to do is manage our minds around time. And so that's what I help my clients do as well.
Yeah. And so I guess like some of our minds around time is just the automatic things we do without thinking about it. Is that part of your time system?
Well, no, I have a specific strategy, but what I do love to use is the power of atomic habits. I don't know if you've read that book by James Clear. Very
Yes,
popular.
yeah, I love that book. Yeah.
So I love including the atomic habits, especially the habit stacking, where you stack the new habit that you want to establish on top of one that you already do. So, but we don't have time to go, we don't have time to go into the steps of my time prioritization system today. But what I do recommend is weekly scheduling. So you want to prioritize, what you want. First, you want to, I guess I can just quickly give you the 4 steps. So first you want to identify what are your most important life zones. So health, business, family, home, and then make a to-do list in each of those. Then you want to eliminate and delegate whatever you can, because we can't do it all, right? And not everything has to be done in the next week. So then we want to prioritize, right, in each life zone. And then the final step would be to schedule it out. And so that step is very important, because that's how we're creating time for each of the activities that we want to accomplish.
I love that. So there was a couple of things. One of the things I loved is you don't have to do everything this week.
Exactly.
And I know, like, for a lot of entrepreneurs, you kind of feel like everything has to be done right now for the business. And then sometimes we neglect our health or other parts of our life. And that's not healthy. Like, I know for me, I, for a long time, thought, okay, I'll worry about getting healthy after my business is up and running. But then when I started focusing on my health, all of a sudden my business started improving because I felt better. I had more energy and all that stuff. So having an opportunity to include every part of your life in your planning, I think, is important. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel like, oh, I have to focus on the business first. That has to be the priority, but it doesn't have to be the only priority.
Right. And like, to your point, like one of my coaches told me one time, there is no business without you. So yeah, absolutely. So I feel like health does have to be prioritized at the same time as kids, for sure, for us mompreneurs out there, right? And it's like, I don't want to compromise on any of the life zones that are most important. So my kids, my health, my family, my business are all important. And that's why I created my time prioritization system.
So. I love that. And I guess the prioritization system, that's also part of this, like, visibility and turning them into consistent clients, because it's really easy if you haven't prioritized to be busy but not actually accomplishing anything.
Yes. And so that reminds me of one of my best testimonials, right? You can see that on my website, nataliehankins.com. But that's exactly what I'm just remembering one client who, before she found me, she was busy for the sake of being busy in her business. And what we have to do is we have to focus on the high impact money making activities, because the thing of it is, time is limited on this planet. So we don't have time to do all the things, right? We really don't, because especially in this information age that we're in, you can get strategy everywhere for free, but you've really got to focus on what's going to actually move the needle in your business. And so that's part of what I do as a mindset coach as well.
And I think also sometimes it's really valuable to have an outside voice to say, you know what, maybe you shouldn't be focusing on this. You should be focusing on this, because this is the thing that's going to make you money. Because
Exactly.
When you're left, like I know with me, if I'm left to my own devices without any outside influences, I can find an awful lot of stuff that I feel is being productive, but it's not. And
Mm-hmm.
especially like, earlier on you said something about introverts and stuff. And so people who are introverts, it can
Mm-hmm.
be really easy to find excuses why you shouldn't have conversations with people. And so sometimes having that little bit of outside support from a coach to remind you to actually go and talk to some human beings.
Right, because the second part of that testimonial is that, once we started focusing her on the high impact money making activities, then she had that more consistent stream of clients and income coming in. Because, yeah, that's what it takes. And the thing of it is, even if you're not an introvert, it usually does feel uncomfortable, right? To ask people to extend an invitation, right? To have that free consultation or whatever it is that you offer. But that's what it takes. Like I said, we can't rely, especially like I said, with the changes in the social media algorithm, it would be really nice, if we could rely on social media, even referrals. If you're waiting on people to refer, you might be waiting a lot longer than you'd like, right? So I describe myself as being a proactive coach. I like to get my clients in action. So that way, I mean, I also have a course called 5K in 30 days. So several of my clients, they make that 5K in 30 days. Or I had one client that even made 5K in 1 week when she was working with me as well. So yeah, so I love
Well,
to get action.
and then when you start getting that kind of consistent income, then the productivity and your time management becomes easier because you're not spending all your time trying to like do everything cheap and do everything for free and making
Right,
all these tools work together with band-aids and duct tape, because you can go, okay, I'll pay for the tool that does the thing for me because now I can afford it because I have consistent income.
well, right. But, it's so interesting that you said that because I talk about this in my masterclass as well. So the cycle that can keep us stuck is that we're thinking it's not working. So we look for something new, right? And so then we spend all of our time, trying the new things, right? And then because we're not focused on the high impact money making activities, or we don't have a clear process from lead to client, then it circles all the way back to it's still not working. And then we just stay in that cycle of frustration. Yeah.
So I love that. So like you may be a mindset coach, but you're also a really practical, hands-on do stuff coach, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So I do have a lot of strategy as well because we need that consistent way of bringing in those leads. And so I have an amazing lead generation strategy where you can have as many connections as you want. And then I have a process from lead to client so that we're turning those conversations into clients.
That's fabulous. So you mentioned your master class. Do you want to like
Yes.
tell people a little bit more about it? Because it sounds amazing from what I've heard
Yes,
so far.
absolutely. So my new master class this year is from conversations to clients, turn connection into consistent income. So if you go to my website, nataliehankins.com, then you can register for that. And I also have my free course, 5K in 30 days. And so that is the exact strategy and mindset that I used to create my first 5K in just 30 days after I was certified as a mindset coach, because it takes both strategy and mindset to be successful in business.
Absolutely. And I will have links to all those in the chat as well as your social media. I want to thank you so much because I really think this is such an important piece, sort of the visibility and the conversations leading to clients, because that's why we're all in business, is we want to help our clients and also pay our mortgage and feed our kids.
Absolutely. And we've got to do it all at the same time.
All right. So yes, go and sign up for Natalie's masterclass. And you're doing this like every month, I think, for the rest of the year, you said?
So yeah, so just to watch out for, the pop-ups invitation to my masterclass. And if it's not there at the very beginning of the month, it might be towards the middle or the end of the month, but you'll either get my 5K in 30 days course or my invitation to my masterclass.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been such a fun conversation, and definitely go check out Natalie's free course and her masterclass.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
Thanks for listening to Courage to be Visible. I hope today's conversation sparked ideas for your own visibility. If it helped, please share this episode with a friend. Follow the show and leave a quick rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really helps. For links, show notes, and free resources to grow your visibility, head over to the show notes or visit my website. See you next time.